So welcome everyone to another Lunch and Learn by GRWE, our Get Ready with Entrepreneurs, an opportunity for our members to speak. And we have a special guest today. We're looking forward to it. So without further delay, today's topic is overcoming fear of success, presented by Dorothy Bosse.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for this Lunch and Learn. It is a lunch and learn, so I'll be talking. You can be eating. You can stay off camera while I talk if you like. We'll be engaging. I am going to have you do a little bit of work throughout this, but you can enjoy your lunches while you do that. And as Laura mentioned, we'll get back into discussion at the very end. For those that know me a little bit less, my name is Dorothy Bosse. Hopefully you can see the slide with all of my contact information. Yes, perfect. Thank you, Helen. I am a master life coach and the founder of my company, Inspired by Choice. I am a certified life, health, and transformational coach. And I come to you with 20 years of progressive experience across sales and marketing in corporate Canada. So today, I help individuals like yourselves to overcome the personal fears that might be keeping you from really taking off in your business and in your life. So through things like talks, workshops like this one, and private one-on-one coaching, I give individuals the support, the tools, and the accountability to really unleash their full potential and start to thrive in their business and in their life. So you have the QR code right there. If you haven't connected with me, please do so. Let's connect on social media and go ahead and join my VIP mailing list. I promise I will not be spamming your inbox. I only send out information that is interesting and relevant and occasional. So as Laura is doing right now, there is a companion worksheet that she would have shared right now in the chat. If you're able to get to it, do grab it and save yourself a copy from Google Docs, or even print it if you can. If you can't, for whatever reason, that's okay. You can still do any reflection on a piece of paper. I would encourage you to go back and interact with it afterwards, especially to capture any insights that are unique to your personal experience. And if you are watching this as a recording later, this will be available as a download on my website, and any instructions will be included in the comments. So with that, let's get right into the topic: overcoming fear of success. Now, for today, I think it's important to start by defining what kind of success we are talking about. Success could mean a lot of things to a lot of people, and you could do a whole lunch and learn on success. But for the purpose of overcoming the fear, I think what we really want to focus for today is business success. And so for the purpose of today, what is business success or success in business? Well, you're meeting or exceeding your mission and vision. You're consistently achieving or exceeding your goals and objectives. You're seeing some revenue growth and financial prosperity. And if we can agree that, yes, this looks like the definition of what business success might be, then the natural next question becomes, well, yeah, doesn't everybody want that? Didn't we all get into business in the first place to have these things? And the answer is, yeah, absolutely. And also not necessarily. So to bridge into the next section, here's a quote that I love. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. So here are some clues that you or someone you know might be struggling with a fear of success. When things start going well, you start feeling a sense of panic. Or when things start going well, you stop working on the business. You find ways to stop that momentum. Maybe great ideas get presented to you, or new connections and opportunities, but when they are presented, you sit on them, or you find excuses to pass on them, or you get distracted by other things until it's absolutely too late to take action. Or maybe you spend a better part of your days explaining to people people who didn't even ask why it's not the right time for you to grow, or you're not ready to grow, or you're just absolutely not able to grow. And maybe when you think about your business growing and prospering, you're actually feeling a physical sense of dread. So this could show up in different ways. Maybe it's a pit in your stomach, maybe a heavy heart, tense muscles, maybe you get sweaty palms, you even get breathless. Or maybe every time you think about your business growing and prospering, you actually end up feeling a headache or a migraine. If you get any of these sensations that I highlighted here, not as one-off, but as a recurring experience, chances are on some level you're struggling with the fear of success. And now let's look deeper at what a fear of success actually really is. First and foremost, it could be a fear of what being successful will mean about you as a person. So what will people say? What will they think? Will success go to your head? If you get it, are you actually good enough to keep it? And then are you even worthy of success? Or it could be the fear around what you will have to sacrifice as a result of your success. So maybe you're afraid that you'll have to sacrifice the freedom of flexibility over your own schedule. Or you're afraid you'll lose the freedom of anonymity because if you're successful, you become popular or famous, and that comes with transparency and responsibility. Maybe you're terrified that success will mean having to sacrifice your health, or that as your business continues to grow, you're going to start to lose control because you're scared to delegate or outsource because nobody else can do it the way you do it. Or maybe the fear is around whom you might lose on your journey of success. And this one is really tricky because it really touches our sense for need of connection and love from others. So this could look like, well, maybe there's friends who might not accept your success and stick around after you're successful. Or maybe you have a loved one who might be threatened or resentful of your success. Or a sibling that you're close to, but they've built an entire identity around they're the successful one. And if you showed up on the scene with your success, that might threaten the dynamic. Or at the end, maybe it's just a straight up fear of not being worthy of the success. When we look at all of this, I hope it becomes a lot clearer that it's possible for a person to, on the one hand, really want growth in money and success, and on the other hand, still say, yeah, I don't want to be having these experiences in my life. And that's where we get caught up in this fear of success. So why is this happening? Let's take a look at the mind of an entrepreneur. Imagine this little triangle is your mind as an entrepreneur, or if you're not an entrepreneur, as a business person. And that mind is so busy thinking about vision, mission, your intention, the strategy, what tactics are you going to use, the problem solving. It's constantly learning. And all of this churning and learning and thinking is leading towards specific driving of actions. So you've got sales, marketing, logistics, networking, customer service, prospecting, administration, and of course, the usual putting out of fires. And all of this activity can be completely absorbing. But at the end of the day, even if you put all of that energy and fill up that triangle with just working on the business towards the positive intention of driving business success, that only represents 5% of your mind, 5% of your brain. Your conscious mind only represents 5%. And the other 95% comes from your subconscious mind. And here is where your conditioning sits, your core beliefs sit, your personal limitations. So this comes from mainstream media, social conditioning, your personal culture, family values, and interesting things like the meanings you've made about yourself and about the world when you were a little kid. All of this stuff is sitting buried underneath the surface where you can't access it readily with your conscious mind. And the point I'm making here is you could be working away so hard, putting all of your conscious focus on that 5%. If what's happening under the surface is working against you, you're going to run into conflict, you're going to run into blocks, and fears are going to creep up and self-sabotage. And that's where it's coming from. And just to demonstrate to you how powerful this is, I want to do a little fun exercise together on social conditioning. So you can work off of your handout, or you can do it with me on the screen here. And I'd like to invite you to just grab the chat and pop in whatever first thing comes to your mind when you see these phrases. Money doesn't grow where? It doesn't grow on trees. How about this? The rich get something and the poor get something. Throw it into the chat if it comes to mind. The rich get richer, yes. And the poor get lost, okay. Any other thoughts on what the poor do? Rich definitely get richer. And oftentimes they say poor get poorer. How about this? Money can't buy health, happiness, yeah, happiness. All right. Success doesn't happen when? It doesn't happen overnight. No, siree. What 3 things does it take? Let's see what you guys come up with. Hard work. Yeah. Hard work, struggle, persistence, all-nighters, time, resilience. Oh, coffee. Nice. Love it. Yeah, I actually had blood, sweat, and tears, but any variation of that, yeah, hard work, education, effort. Love all of those. How about this one? They only like him for his money. Oh, charm. I like that. Yeah. I had money for his power. Yeah, good. She's a rich. I don't know if you dare to write it. Yeah, she is, isn't she? How about this? What is the root of all what? Money is the root of all evil, isn't it? Yeah. All right. You can have a great family life or a great career, but darling, you cannot have all, both. You can't have it all. And just for funsies, let's do this one. Good girls go here, but bad girls go. Anybody got this one? Heaven, hell, love it. Yeah. Anybody else? Anywhere. Yeah. Good girls go to heaven and bad girls go everywhere or anywhere. So if I'm somebody who wants to go places and get things in my life, then I'm a bad girl. So whether you came up with the same answers for these or something else came up for you, what I want you to notice is that the first thoughts that come to your mind, that's accessing your subconscious program, and that's running in your brain all the time in the background. And what I'm inviting you to notice is that these same programs are actually passing judgment on how you're living your life, because they're giving you directions on what's good, what's bad, what's evil, what's righteous, what's acceptable, what's unacceptable, and what's necessary, right? You can't have success without all-nighters and effort and blood, sweat, tears, coffee. You can't do it without those things. All of that's necessary. So now you're aware of that. Okay, so now you're ready to do a little bit of work on your own. So I'd like for you to sit down now, either with the handout or with a piece of paper, and do a little bit more self-reflection now that we've opened up that tab, and think about, based on your own experience, your own culture, community, religion, family values, What have you been believing and taught to believe around money, success, and work? Take a couple of minutes and jot that down. And if you're comfortable, you're welcome to share it in the chat. I'll just read out what the comments are, not who sent them. So again, if anybody's comfortable, you can share in the chat. And if not, you can always throw in a quick done into the comments so that I know once people are wrapping it up. And if you're done, for those of you that are getting there, you can move on to the second part of the self-reflection, where I'm inviting you to look at the fears that I've stated and go through them one by one. And on a scale of 1 to 5, see how deeply you identify with each one of them. So not at all to very highly. That'll be in the next part of self-reflection. And as you're completing that portion of the exercise, one more thing that I'd like for you to do is either circle or highlight the ones that resonate with you most strongly. And at the end, make some notes of your own. Is there something in your own language? Either maybe it's a fear that I didn't quite articulate, or it comes up for you and it sounds different in your mind. Jot it down what that sounds like for you personally. And then once you've had the opportunity to evaluate all of these, highlight the ones that resonate with you the most, and or write down the ones that are coming up for you in your own language, in your own mind. Just throw in a quick done into the chat so I see when the majority have completed it. I'll give it just a quick moment to see a couple more dones in the chat, and then we'll move along. Fantastic. So thank you for playing along with that and taking the time to do some self-reflection. I want you to notice, and you might not even realize this, but even the fact that you now sat down and got really clear on exactly what is sitting behind this possible fear of success and what that sounds and looks like for you, and maybe even hearing the voice of who does this sound like and where did I first hear this and where this is coming from. All of that is profoundly helpful to your ability to overcome it. So now you're probably thinking, all right, Dorothy, let's overcome it. Let's get to the meat and potatoes of this. How are we going to do this? And if you've heard me speak before, you've heard me say this before. Where our focus goes, our energy follows. So if you look over the list and the notes that you just made and why really jumps out at you as your biggest fears, where is the first place that your focus goes? And for the majority of us, the first place we tend to put our focus is on other people. What are other people going to say about me? What are they going to think about me? How are they going to react to me? What are they going to do? And this is how we get stuck, because unfortunately, this is completely disempowered and it is 100% outside of our control and 100% guaranteed to keep us stuck. Because try as you might, do, say, and do everything on your end, what other people say to you, how they treat you, what they say about you behind your back, what they think of you really has very little to nothing to do with you. I repeat, it has very little to nothing to do with you and everything to do with them and how they see the world and what they need out of the world. So to start all of your planning around what other people will say, think, and do is very disempowered and completely outside of your control. What is in your control is your own actions and what you are willing to do and what you are willing to sacrifice. But the fun fact about this is if you are very much focused on other people, you might not even recognize that some of these things are within your control. Because you might say, no, I can't. That's not actually in my control because I have to consider what is this person going to say and how this person's going to respond. And certain people have expectations of me. It's not that simple, Dorothy. Actually, it really is. What you do is completely within your control when you stop worrying about how people will receive it first and foremost. And what is at the heart of what's within your control is you and your beliefs and how you see yourself and how you value yourself and how you see the world and how you interact with the world. So if you can start with looking at what's within your control, your actions, your thoughts, and your belief systems, then that's 100% guaranteed to keep you on track and to give you momentum. And that is the challenge that a lot of people fall into. They look at it from the outside in. Well, I'm going to reference other people and see what they tell me about me and what I should be doing and whether they think I'm valuable and whether they think I'm good enough. And I'm going to respond to that rather than getting a sense of, I know where I stand. I know who I am. I know how far I'm willing to take this. I know what's okay and not okay with me, for me. And then letting that influence the people around. And that's the magic and the trick to overcoming a lot of these fears. So a little more practical tools on how you can do this. First and foremost, refresh your personal beliefs. Refresh them. Some of the things you've identified that may not be working for you in your programming. Reframe old unwanted beliefs. Define your personal values. Not what everybody said you should be valuing, but what is true and important for you. Your mission and vision, not just as an entrepreneur, but as a human being, so that the work that you do, making sure that that's in alignment of what's important to you and to your values, and that will guide you in the right direction. And this is a big one. Start shifting from a scarcity mindset to an abundance mindset. For most of us, that 95% of the subconscious is heavily conditioned to believe there isn't enough for everyone. There isn't enough positions for everyone. There isn't enough opportunity for everyone. There isn't enough money for everyone. There isn't enough time for everything. Not enough, not enough, not enough, and I am not enough. Whereas in an abundance mindset, you start thinking, yes, and there is enough. I can be successful and have fulfilling relationships. I can be successful and rested. I can have very quality work that has been delegated. Yes, and is an abundance mindset, but that might be very new. So you might have to do a little bit of work, shifting your thinking towards the positive, learning some positive affirmations and practicing those so that your brain, your conscious mind, can start influencing the unconscious and creating some new pathways. And possibly you might need some additional coaching support to get you there. And then the next level around what you do is setting some ground rules and some boundaries in how you show up in the world and how you show up in your business. So document the goals that you have and what you're not willing to do. If 3 weeks vacation is incredibly important to you every year, make sure that you capture that. If showing up for your kid at the bus stop at the end of the day is incredibly important, or you know that at least twice a month you want to show up for the hockey game, make note of that. If you have a barrier and you say, I will never drive myself to the point of burnout, put that on paper. And then, and you might think this is silly, but this is crazy effective, write, sign, and post a personal employment contract with yourself. Because if you were going out and working for somebody else, they would give you an employment contract and you would get some clarity around what is the scope of your role and what is allowed, what you get for vacation, what you get for flexibility, what happens if you need a personal day. You would have all of this defined for you and you would know what you can play within. Well, now you are the boss and the employee as an entrepreneur, or maybe you're in transition and you're trying to figure out how you want to show up in the next opportunity you take on. Write this out for yourself so that you're very, very clear, and then you post it somewhere where you can reference it to say, this is how I want to operate. This is what I'm comfortable with. And then when you reference it, you'll either see, yeah, it's hard. I'm having, you know what, I'm having a bumpy road, but it's within the parameters of what I set out, so it's okay. Or, scope creep is coming in. This is no longer meeting my objectives. This is no longer how I wanted this experience to look. Now I have permission from me to me with love to pivot and do something different, or to pivot and walk away, or to pivot and introduce something new. And once you do this, please elect an accountability partner to hold you to that, somebody that you can trust. Maybe it's a peer, a mentor, maybe it's your own coach, but someone who's going to hold you to this great high vision that you have for yourself and give you permission to execute on the contract that you set out. And finally, you influence others, because like attracts like and energy attracts energy. So if you inspire joy and success through your example, when you raise the quality of your own life, you raise the quality of the people around you. Okay? And to wrap it up, a few additional resources for you. There's 2 books that I highly recommend, whether you're an entrepreneur or even a business person in transition. The Wealthy Spirit by Shelley Campbell The 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz that I think every human being should have to at least read or listen to. There's a free download on my website if you're learning how to shift your thinking towards the positive and you need a little bit of guidance to get your mind around that. So you can go on my website and download it. And again, if you feel that you could use some additional support, please reach out to me and let's book a breakthrough session and see what support could look like for you. And that's it. Before we stop the recording and go into the conversation, I do want to invite you to, at some point before you finish off here and jump back into work and jump back into life, that you jot down some ahas that you got from this session. And what specifically are you prepared to do differently as a result of that? And that will help you maintain the momentum from any inspiration that you might have discovered here today. So make sure you take a moment to do that. Thank you all for your time.